Hello, great to see you again. So, in the last lecture, we discussed about methods of and their types, like a method with arguments, method with no arguments, and some errors about naming errors, and we learn about the local variable, what are the local variables in brief only, and we also talk about some errors like name errors, argument errors, and what we should be careful about. So, and we end our topic in last lecture at the string interpolation. So in this argument, in this lecture, we will go through the string interpolation, which is also a part of Ruby uh, tutorial. So string interpolation is what? So string interpolation is just a feature that you can use your programming code or Ruby code or Ruby code inside a string. Okay. And with this, along with this string interpolation, we will also see the types of string inside the Ruby. That we have, then when we can interpolate our string Ruby code inside a string, and when we should use this and when we cannot use this, and how it should work actually, so and why it is important. So we will discuss about this. So let's switch to the our older class, file, where we see the demonstration of the methods. So these are the files. Now let's say this is the simple method. This is a string. This is a string. In Ruby, you can define a string in two ways, like using single quotes, like hello world, hello world, hello world. This is a string, and if you write this the same words in double quotes, hello world, this is also a string. But see the difference here. Like this has the single quoted string, and this is the double quoted string. Okay, so for a string interpolation, we have to use a string like this or the string with double quoted. Okay, we cannot use interpolation inside the single quote string. These are known as literals only, Ruby literals. And so we cannot interpolate our variables here, and we really don't need that as well, because let's see here, like it's just print hello and just return a simply message, and there is no Ruby code I need to return in that, because I just want to display simple message only. Yeah, but look at this method now, from line number 7 to line number 9, calculate sum. There might be some user which ask that display the sum inside some interactive with some message, like the number of the addition of the sum of these two provided numbers is this, or anything else. Let's say, let's check this. You are saying here that this is the 500, but maybe someone might require you to write a function which returns output like the sum of two numbers is 500. Yeah, let's say this should be your string. Okay, so someone might expect output like this, that the sum of the two numbers is 500. So how we should do that? Now this is the case where we need the interpolation of a string. So just come here. It's very simple. Uh, let's say puts. Sorry, you can do here puts the sum of two numbers is, just use is, yeah, just use hash and curly bracket and write your expression here, num1 plus num2. This will return the output. Now this is called the string interpolation. Why? Because we are executing the Ruby code inside this double quoted string. So this is a Ruby code, and into this interpolated string you can pass any Ruby code, but would be preferable if you have only single line or very short expression. You can direct either pass a variable name here, or you can write expression here, or you can call some function and the returned output here. But mm, for now I'm just using the expression here. Now let's execute the file. You can see here the sum of two numbers is 500. Okay, so this is the file, and this is the definition of our string interpolation. Let's load it, man. Yeah, the Ruby provides a feature called string interpolation that lets you substitute the result of Ruby code into the middle of a string, or you can use simply inside a string. Anything will work. And now see the how we can interpolate a string here. Okay, now since this is an expression only, but you can do this like sum. Let's make the sum variable here, sum equal to this. Now what I'm doing here is that I'm first calculating these numbers and assigning the value of this expression to the sum variable, and now just evaluating sum here. So now if you execute this program, the output will be same. The sum of two numbers is 500, because now you are just executing the variable here inside the string. Now let's check why this interpolation is work only with double quoted string, not with single quoted. Let's add single quote here. You will see nothing. You will see the same string with hash and sum as it is printed on the console. You can see here now that hash sum, the sum of two numbers is hash sum. So now it is clear that you can interpolate Ruby code inside a string only if you have your string as double quoted string, else you will get nothing. You will get the string output only. So this is about the string interpolation and nothing else. Although you can simply call a method here as well, but try it at your end. Okay. And Ruby, and one more thing that I forgot to mention in the last lecture is that in other languages function always return some values as well, like function have like in Java or C++, the function have the return type as well, like what function will return actually. But in Ruby, no return type associated with the function. The last line of the function is written by default. But if you want to return some output before the method, then you can simply return here. Like you can return some text here. Okay, text. So now the program will not go to these two lines. These two lines will not be executed now. Why? Because your program will return, it will execute this line and exit from this function. So this is just for understanding. And by default, the last line of function of a method inside Ruby is considered as the return expression. Okay, so just look at this, and now we will into the next lecture. We will define our first class inside the Ruby. Okay, and then after that lecture, we will only go to the two more topics, which are the basic data structures that we need to use inside the Rails, which is the uh, array and hashes, and then we will start with the our Rails app development. Okay, thank you guys.